Live stream in the meeting. See where we're going. Let's have a little look there. That's going to have to go there. That's beautiful. Let's get that there. Okay, how are we doing? We're looking good. I can see the comments. I can see the comments there. Let's just move that over there. Here we are. Beautiful. Hello, welcome. Welcome to day 24. I hope you can hear me. I hope we can see now. Let me just bob in the comments here to ask a question. I think I wasn't very clear yesterday. So to ask a question. Click on this link. You may have to wait a while for the current question to be answered before I can get to you. Okay, I think that makes it pretty clear. Got one person watching, so watch this in the comments. Here we go. To ask a question, click on this link. You may have to wait a while for the current question to be answered before I can get to you. Hopefully that explains how it works. If you want to ask a question on the Q&A live, that's what we have to do. So I'm just going to put my phone up here. Excuse me while I mess around with my setup. There we go. Thank you for joining. Okay, we've got 3 watching now, which is nice. If somebody's in the waiting room already, so it's obviously working very well. We'll get to you in a moment, whoever's in the waiting room. I just need to adjust my screen so that I can see what's going on. Put that there, and let's put that over there. And we should be super good to rock and roll. Okay. Let's get the comments there so I can see those going. Lovely, Sophie. Right, lovely. Sophie's going to join us later. Let's have a little look in the waiting room. Rebecca Callahan is in the waiting room, which is nice. We'll get to you in one moment, Rebecca, while we get this going. Thank you to everybody who joined me yesterday. And it will end up being one of the greatest resources that I will have. That the meeting yesterday where there was some error, people couldn't get in, people couldn't get heard. I currently have Rebecca Callahan in the waiting room, but even that wasn't happening. However, watching me try on YouTube has brought up so much of my philosophy with trying things on horses. It's possibly going to be the most valuable broadcast that I shall refer to again and again and again and again, with so much in it that I'm, in retrospect, delighted. And if I was only clever enough to have done it on purpose, there's so much valuable content in there. So thank you. We're going to have a look here. Let's admit Rebecca in. This is the way it works. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you. We're going to have a look here. Let's admit Rebecca in. This is the way it works. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
We're going to have a look here. Okay, so is your YouTube playing in the background? So we've got the YouTube going and the current thing. Could you bob over to YouTube, hit the little loudspeaker and get that to mute, because I can hear my own voice like 20 seconds before. That'll be worth writing in the comments as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, is that better?
Yeah, that's super. Just one moment. I'm going to write that here. So where are we? Before going live, please turn off your YouTube tab sound. There we are. I'll just send that there. Good morning, good morning. I tell you what I really like is the fact that I'm out here with my arena. You can't see my arena, I've got the screen at the wrong height. I'm here in my arena and you're there in your arena, and it's a beautiful day. It feels like we're almost in the same place.
It's beautiful, beautiful day again.
Lovely. So have you got a question for me today?
I have. Try and be a bit more organised today. How would I manage my own self-confidence when dealing with large and unfamiliar horses in a barefoot, or my new barefoot trimming role?
Familiarity, bite sizes, practice. Take the opportunity. Don't wait until you're there trying to trim for the first time, when you've got all the pressure of the owner looking after you, trying to get whoever's taken you on as an apprentice there watching you, and you're then trying to learn as well. Start practicing now. Everybody, I would be delighted to help you. If you came up to me and said, that big horse there, is he good for having his feet picked up? And I'm, oh, well, he does lean on you a little bit. It's like, do you mind if I just go? Everybody would be delighted to help you. And the more familiar it gets, speak to your farriers. You know, how can you show me any tips on picking up feet when they're leaning on you or when they're pulling away? And practice before it matters.
Thank you very much.
Have you got some horses you can do that with?
Yeah, we've got 2 ponies and 1 horse who obviously has pushed me out of my comfort zone a bit, but I'm getting there with him. But I just thought it's different when you don't know them and you don't know whether they're going to he's kicked out a few times. He's a lot better.
Go and find strange horses. It gives you a chance to introduce yourself to more people in the local community, which is also going to be good. It already starts you on your I'm taking this barefoot trimming, and although I'm quite used to picking up horses' feet, I'd quite like to just have the opportunity to pick up strange horses' feet and maybe pick them out a bit. And do you mind if I just do your horse's feet just for the practice? Practice having both hands free with the hoof in your lap. Everybody will do that. You'll find plenty of people with good horses who are a little bit worried about picking up their feet anyway. And if you say, look, I don't mind coming up here every day and just like training it for the farrier, I'm just going to pick up its feet, tap it with the hoof, pick a few times, and I'll just do that every day. It'll help your horse out to be good for the farrier. It'll help me out because I'm going to have to deal with strange horses with this bit of confidence. You'll enter conversations with people which will be mutually beneficial in ways you can't imagine.
Yeah, that sounds
once
brilliant.
You're allowed to mix with them.
Sorry?
Once you're allowed to mix with the people.
Yeah, of course.
Where are you? What area are you in?
I'm in Essex.
Okay, so anyone watching this in Essex, stick a comment in the comments. Rebecca Callahan, you can find her. Rebecca, if you've got any contact that you want to do, stick it in the comments. Anybody who can help you out, I'm sure they'd be delighted. I'd be delighted. If you lived around here, I'd be delighted.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for joining the conversation.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, then. So let's bob that back into the waiting room, and Rebecca can come and go as she wishes. Okay, Claire is Claire. Hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
How was the process of getting onto the broadcast?
Relatively easy. Just sat in the waiting room waiting for you.
Yeah, I don't even know what the waiting room looks like. So I wonder if there's a way of making it personalized so people know that I'm here and ready for a question. It's a thought.
Well, it's just a blank page. I think you can personalise them, but it just says that you'll let us in when you're ready.
Okay, lovely. Okay then, are you asking questions or offering advice? Because do you want to introduce yourself and how we know each other?
Yeah, I'm one of Karl's beta group students, and I've also done his rider confidence course, which is brilliant. And read his book and regularly have chats on the on Zoom via this for our updates. And I'm now trying to help Karl with his next group when I can, as well as being a student back at university studying horses.
What are you studying?
Equine science and welfare.
How long is it?
It's going to be 3 years in total, and I'm nearly at the end of my first year. Although it's gone very virtual, so it's a bit interesting.
Are you enjoying it? Was it what you expected?
No, it's not what I expected, because I've been to uni in the past, and this is an awful lot more self-directed learning.
Okay.
And I suppose going back as an older student, it's different as well.
What's the average age of students there then? And what college are you at, did you say?
It's Eastern College near Norwich. It's a mixture. There's half of us that are mature students and half that are in their teens and 20s. Depends what you're studying.
Okay, so what have you come on for? To offer advice, ask a question?
I can do both. But one of the ones I wanted to ask you is, obviously you've often said that if you teach, it's to learn twice. So I'm sure, as you know, I'm trying to teach my daughter, and she does have some special needs. She has ADHD, so she sees everything very black and white. So I'm having trouble with getting her to learn how to deal with spooky corner, and it is very much her spooky corner. And it's, how do you apply that seesaw of primitive mind to intellectual mind to somebody who's 13?
Well, first of all, is that corner, what direction of the compass is that corner in?
No.
Right, so from now on it's north corner. Not spooky corner. North corner, south corner, east corner and west corner. How do you get through to a 13-year-old? Well, there's always well, actually parents would answer this probably better than I can. So what's the route that you've experienced in other areas of your life where you need to get something through, but obviously she's not going to listen to you, and so you've had to get somebody else to get a point across in any other area? Is that ringing a bell anywhere?
I mean, yes. I mean, she has riding lessons, and she listens to Lucy brilliantly, but it's a different environment because it's inside a riding school. She feels very safe, and she's on the riding school horses, whereas at home it's very open. The paddock just has tape all the way around it to separate it, and I think it's a visual thing. It's that corner, whereas in a riding school you have 4 walls.
Yes.
I think she's worried that Barney's going to bolt off with her or do something in that corner.
So what's the solution when we think that the horse is going to spook anywhere? Hey, I'll put it on the ball now.
You just tell them to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Laser focus. If you, I actually doubt that you'll get through to her the psychology behind using your primitive brain, using your intellectual brain, but you can demonstrate to her that if you're doing a figure 8 in the middle of the arena, and you choose a bit of foam or a bit of sand or a kind of mark to be the cross, and then you say, right, we're going to move it to different areas of the arena, and you move it around. But that figure eight has to be perfect. Maybe you could add in a bit of fun by having an overhead camera, so you can then stop and look at it, make it all a bit jokey. Try it here, try it here, try it here. At some point, part of it will have to be in the north corner. You're trying it here and there, but if you emphasize over and over and over and over and over and over, we're doing this absolute figure eight, you're making it a lot of fun, maybe make it a competition between her and one of her friends. Eventually at the end, you'll be able to have got her laser focus on some particular game or project that at the end you can then turn around and say you didn't even notice the north corner.
Yeah, I mean, the daft thing is it's only associated with one horse. He will ride my horse down there, no problem.
Yeah, if we can get her mental focus on the figure eight, and she can get the horse's mental focus on the figure eight, or whatever game is suitable, get lots of people in, you just find that it doesn't cross your mind. So you'll have to get your thinking cap on, find a game that you think will be good, find a way to make it ridiculously exciting, maybe offer a prize at the end of it, blame it on the social lockdown, make up a prize of some kind. Have we had Easter yet?
Yes, we have.
Well, whatever's next, and yeah, just completely devote the exercise, because she can ride, and you could, yeah, you can find something which, without being a lesson in psychology, can employ the psychology, and then afterwards you can say, remember when we were doing the Easter egg hunt, and there you are. However, having said all that, I'm not a parent. That's me guessing. If anybody's got any suggestions, especially if they've got teenagers with ADHD, I'm sure that the suggestions will come flooding in.
It'd be interesting to see.
Without a doubt. That's my suggestion. But as I say, I'm not a parent, but it's somewhere along those lines where the answer is.
Okay.
Lovely. Have you got anything to teach? If teachers to learn twice, anything you'd like to share with the audience?
Only the wonderful bite sizes, getting out there every day in this lockdown to be with your horses.
Claire's top tip of the day: bite sizes. I like that.
Absolutely.
Lovely. Okay, thank you very much for joining. I hope you join again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, lovely. Let me just go over to the YouTube again. If you would like to ask a question, let me just make that absolutely clear. Is it clear to everybody the process that you need to go through? I'm just putting it again and again and again so that everybody can see that. Control V, and let's just bob that there. There we are. There we are. So let's have a look, see if anybody's watching. Here we've got 10 watching now. So that's super. Thank you very much. If any of this has been useful to you, then please share it. Tell people that it's there. Tell them that they can come on here every day at 11 o'clock. I'm just holding questions. Any question that you like, and just bob on, ask the question. The point is, it's called the Social Distance Social Club, and that's what we're aiming for. Okay, quick look in the waiting room, and Louisa's there. Let's see what's going on here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you?
Hello.
Oh, there you go. What, out of interest, what device are you on?
An iPhone.
Okay, super. Was it an easy process getting onto the questions?
Yes, it was very.
Oh,
Yeah, just
super
typed
cool.
the number in. It was fine.
Super cool. Listen to Louisa, she knows what she's talking about. If you if you've got a question, bob it on and ask your question like Louisa's about to do. What you got for me?
It's a question about hacking and how you should work your horse while you're hacking. Sometimes I ride in a contact and outline and work on a bit of bending. Then I feel a bit mean and think I should be letting her relax, and I let her ride on a loose rein. And then I think, oh, but what if a pheasant of doom jumps out of the hedge? I'm not prepared without a contact. So I never know quite which is the right approach.
Yes, I fully appreciate what you mean. Personally, I ride them very relaxed, but at the same time, I'm aware that if the pheasant of doom jumps out, I'm not prepared. So the answer is not to ride on the buckle, which is what we want to do. But at the same time, you don't want to ride them in an outline, which I fully understand, unless you're getting them past a spooky area, or sometimes when they go out and they're just in the mood for a spook. And you just know it's coming, and they're just like, waiting for this spook, and they're just in the mood, or they haven't been ridden for quite a while, and you just know that they're going to be more blowy than normally. In that case, I'd be like, you're working now. We're going to work, and there we are, because the value of them being in that mood. You might not get that mood again for another 3 weeks. So you don't want to miss your opportunity.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's judging the mood, judging the environment. The most value will be from them being in a spooky mood or in an environment that they get spooky about, and devoting yourself to riding in the most perfect outline on the bit, hind legs underneath, taking most of the weight, nice outline, going from this tree to that bush and nicely around the corner. And now we're going to do lateral work from this tire track, from the tractor on the over the verge to this, and just pushing them about and generally schooling them is immensely valuable.
Yeah.
If, however, it's not one of those days and shouldn't I, then it's fine to relax by just a little movement forwards, and then you're not too far away from it. You don't have to be on the buckle, even though it makes me feel good to be, you're wandering around on the buckle and you're just like, oh, I'm such a horse person. Look at me controlling my horse with my mind. But then you're completely unprepared.
Yes.
I went to Spain and did a talk there, and 2 people gave the opinion that they'd read my book and I was always saying relax, and that was what I meant. And then they were like, I was completely relaxed, and then the horse spooked anyway and I came off. So it is possible to be dynamically relaxed.
Yes.
And that's what I go. You don't want to be suddenly running up the reins trying to gather them up, because you're
gathering your knitting up.
Yeah, gathering your knitting up. I like that. You don't want to be doing that, because
no, it's too late then.
You're going to miss your moment if you've not corrected it in half a second. There we are. So I'd say that if it's not 100%, you're on a proper dope on a rope that doesn't jump, even if you have a bomb beside him, then going on the buckle isn't really an option, and it doesn't show anything more than letting off the tension.
Yeah. Okay.
What does that occur to you?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. Lovely. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank
if
you.
it's useful to you or useful to anybody else, please let people know. Get on your horse groups. Let them know that these questions are being answered. Thank you very much, Louisa. And we'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Lovely. Oh, here's Ruth. Smashing. Now, I already know Ruth. Okay, letting you in.
Hello.
Hello. We meet again.
We do. I have a question. I'm riding this afternoon, and although all my preparatory work was mainly aimed at hacking and it's working, although I try and do the same things in the arena, my arena work seems to have gone backwards.
Can you explain that again in a bit more context?
Well, I'm so focused on my little steps out hacking, which have now got to be quite big steps. I was doing little steps in the arena because my problem was I couldn't canter. I could not canter. I couldn't let him go. I knew he was going to bolt. And that whole mindset's changed. So I was expecting to see the same improvement in my arena work. And I'm in my arena work, and although I'm asking for canter and getting it, it's like I don't know what to do with it when I've got it. Whereas when I'm out, I can now just let him go and enjoy it.
Oh, is that just a matter of the corners come up too quick?
Possibly.
What's different when you imagine yourself leaning back, putting your leg on, asking for that lovely rolling canter, and he goes from the trot, and you're rolling along quite happily in the field or on the bridleway? What spoils that feeling? Is his canter not as forward, so therefore you feel like you're going to drop out at any moment because maybe he's seeing the corner come up too quick? What's the different feeling?
He's definitely not as forward. Of course, when I'm out, he wants to go, and I can just concentrate on balance and enjoying the feeling and letting him go. And in the school, he doesn't want to go, so I have to tell him to go. And I think actually, that's quite interesting. I think I've just expected him to go, so I've probably stopped riding.
Yeah.
Just go, and he's in the school, and he's not going to unless he's told.
So what are you saying? What is the actual problem in the school? Not that he's running off, that he's not going into canter?
He won't go. He will take about 2 strides and stop.
It could also possibly be that you are anticipating that we have to do some steering, so maybe your reins are a little bit tighter than they would be in the field. Any idea what your reins do in the field?
I'm trying not to have any kind of fight with him because I used to panic when he started to go forward, and I'd tense, the reins would come back, he'd grab them and bolt.
Yes, just for everybody watching, we've had this conversation before. I'm only asking the question so that you get a good context. Yes, so it's one of those situations where the signal to go faster and faster and faster is to pull harder and harder and harder on the reins. That's developed over some years. You've overcome that by having the confidence to let go a bit, and he stays perfectly normal. In the school, is it true as you think back that you don't have the same move forwards of the reins?
Well, before I started cantering out of hacking, my cantering in the school was better because I knew that he couldn't run off very far. And I guess I was trying to give him the reins, and I think he's probably now in the school a bit shocked because he's got these reins, and he's like, well, probably I don't know what to do. I'm not supposed to go in here unless I'm told. It's like he doesn't know.
Okay. Really, in the school he needs driving, and outside you're a passenger.
Yeah. Well, to a degree, I'm a passenger. No, he will. I mean, I can change his pace. He'll stay in that pace until he's told to change.
Yeah.
When we're out and when we're in trot in the school, but in cantering, he will just do a few strides and stop, unless.
Unless I quite missed the unless. He will stop.
Unless I'm sort of driving him forward, I have to make a big effort to tell him to go forward. And then, of course, by then in the school, by telling him I'm to go forward, I'm not as balanced.
Yeah.
Next riding school pony, if something doesn't feel right on him in the school, he just stops because he thinks that's the right thing to do.
Yes. Yes.
Both him and the rider.
So it's not so much a matter of your contact as a matter of your driving with your hips, rather than trouble with kicking is we then lose our balance because we're not standing on the stirrup, we're not pushing down on the stirrups. So once we've got him into the canter, this is just in the school, it's really, really, really driving with your hips in a regular rhythm and pushing that saddle how you expect it to be, that you don't have to do when you're outside.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Have you got anybody to watch you?
Possibly not today, but I can arrange that.
Or even better, just get someone to video you, because you will see, you understand the horse better than anybody else. Ask somebody to video you, and anybody watching this who has got one of those cameras that just swivels on its tripod and follows you, they'll realize how useful that is if you can't find somebody, but of course they are a bit more expensive, and it's a lot cheaper to just give your phone to somebody and say, just video me. You don't even need their expertise. Canter a few times. This is what we do when we're doing trick riding. We do the exercise, and then we stop, we get the camera, we look at it. Okay, that's what is wrong becomes immediately apparent, and then we're off again, and then we look at it, and then we're off again, and then we look at it. And that way you can extend out your schooling, because you're not going for a full hour round and round and round trying to suss out your canter. You're stopping and you're looking at it, and you can extend that out. Any of those suggestions ringing a bell with you?
Yeah, that sounds good, because I'm sure if I can see what I'm doing, I then
sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Will you please come back on this Q&A at some point in the future and tell us how that went?
Yeah, no problem.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's try that and see how that goes. Okay, lovely. Thank you, Ruth. I'm going to bob you back into the waiting room. There we are. And we've got Sophie. Let's see what Sophie's got to say. Oh, hello. You don't look like Sophie. If you're on a computer, if you move your cursor, a bunch of symbols should appear at the bottom, and bottom left is a microphone. Yeah, that's it.
Is that it?
That's it. I can hear you.
Oh, morning.
Morning to you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm with Sophie at the moment, as you can see. We've got a big grey. Well, I own a big grey gelding. He's one of those horses we've had for about 15, 16 months. And you know that he's been going so well, and it's like it's too good to be true for everything he does. And then suddenly he's decided to, when we're jumping him in the sand school, it's either attitude or we thought there could be something wrong with him. He loves his jumping, and then suddenly you can do one course of jumping, and then when you stop to talk to the coach or discuss what you're going to do next, he suddenly decided, I'm not going to do no more, throw his ears back. When you put your leg on or sit into him deep to ask him to walk forward, he'll just start bucking and half jumping on the spot. And you really got to dig your heels in to push him on through all this, so he just can't carry on throwing the bucks to get you off. Okay,
yeah. You've given a really good picture as to what's going on. And this is new behavior, and he likes jumping.
Oh yeah, when you could do 10, 15 minutes, and you just sit there and really enjoy it and go for the ride. And it's like suddenly you often think he's starting to get a bit of attitude, because he's never ever done that before. And we've had him for about a year and a half, and he's one of those horses that year and a half you think you couldn't ask for better.
Yeah.
But now we've got the vets involved to have a look at him in case there's something out, the chiropractor, we've checked him out, done all his teeth, done everything. And it's just, is it or isn't it attitude, and push him through, or see what happens.
Is there some kind of exercises I'm just thinking if there's any value in stopping, talking to the instructor, and then maybe lunging him over some, getting off, lunging him over some jumps with the saddle still on. So then you can tell if he's quite happy to go forward, then it's something to do with the rider being on board. But then if you've had the vet check him and you don't know where to go after the vet's checked him.
When we got him originally, the person we got him off mentioned that what he needs, because he was permanently from a yard, and they said what you need to do is strip him right back, chuck him in the field for 6 months and make it fun again. What we're doing very small competitions. We left him out in the field for a long time, hack him around, leave him de-stress, totally just be like a horse that from one stream to another he's gone to, where he's been worked very hard. He's come to us for a year and a half, and it's like a holiday camp. So we stripped him right back naked, let him just do poles again, let him play around, not take it serious, fun competitions, and he's been really, really good. And then suddenly one day to the next, I mean, it's literally to ride him on a Tuesday, very good, to completely having a different horse on a Wednesday. Is
there any other area in life where he becomes stubborn, either in the field, leading in, leading out, anywhere in the stables, anything to say this is a stubborn horse sometimes?
No, not till the other day when he decided to stand up to me in the field when I went to get him. And I just stood there, and because what it was, I fed the goats and I thought I'll put these two in, and because he didn't think he was going to go in, I was going to leave him out, he just had a fit like a paddy, like a child. You know, you feel like slapping him. So I just stood there, and he just went like galloping around the field, coming straight at you and just snorting at you. And
how long has this been? How long has this been going on?
I only done it once.
And the new behaviour when you jump in?
About 2.5 months, 3 months.
I seem to get from the tone in your voice that you think it's an attitude that he can have that's maybe revealed itself with the spring or the change of seasons or something. Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think so. But when you jump and you get him going and he doesn't want to go and he's bronco bucking and lashing out at you, you put him on a longer rein and you canter him through it.
Yes, I get you.
But he jumps. He just takes when it's out of his system, and if you can stay on, he jumps again. So I'm thinking, well, it can't be painful because he wouldn't jump.
Yes, I'm inclined to agree. I'm inclined to agree. I'm just thinking of horses that I've had the similar way. And when you've got horses, like we had a horse at a show that was relatively new to us, and it was exactly the same story. We'd had it at home. We'd done the entire winter. It had been absolutely perfect. We took him to a show. It was all going perfectly. And then all of a sudden, I had one chap light a fire torch, but quite a long way away. And this horse went so, well, not ballistic, but not far off, rearing, jumping into the other horses, spinning, crashing into everybody, only running backwards when you put your leg on. And of course, everyone was really surprised. The person who had the fire started going, sorry, sorry, sorry. Everybody else started saying it's the fire. That's upset him. We believed that for the first show. Then it was no better in between the shows. Then it was like, don't light the fire. But it just happened and happened and happened. Everybody had a go at like, oh, well, you know what boys can be like. I'll sort it out. I'll get it going. And it just wasn't having it. And then for some reason, I just thought to look in its eye and its ear as it was rearing and behaving like it was scared. And I suddenly realized that this was just something he does. And by speaking to the old owner, she was saying, yeah, that's why I got rid of it. Because you get it into a show situation and it just does that. And once we'd realized that it was, in fact, it wasn't even stubbornness or obstinacy. It was just something that I do. This is what I do. And once we'd realized that, we could then apply the right amount of determination, distraction. It was when it stopped, if we carried on, then we could carry on. So we had the most crazy shows of this horse just going circle, circle, circle. It was a jousting show at the time. Circle, 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 joust. Circle, 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 joust. Circle, 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 joust. And it took 2 full seasons to make it realize that this behavior wasn't part of our thing. It never realized it was wrong. It just fell into a new pattern of behavior. I wonder if you speak to the old owners, they could give a situation where the same thing happened.
I've already connected the old. I've already spoken to the old owners and somebody else that knew the horse in the mainland, and they have said that I trust the other person I spoke to, and they turned around and said they've never known the horse do that before. And he was, when I did get hold of the owner was quite shocked that he had done that.
Really?
He wants to know. He's told me keep in touch to try and work out why it's doing this.
Have we got any situations that we could think of where we can push the horse through it, either long reining to obstacles or some other situations where we could induce this behavior without necessarily being on the horse? Because we're always worried that it's pain, aren't we?
Yes, well, it's one of those things. So the first time he done it straight out the blue, it was like, oh my God, something's wrong. So I took the benefit of the doubt not to be so hard on him. I got off him and we checked him out, looked at him, blah, 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 got the vet up, got the physio people up. Everybody says we can't find anything wrong with it. The next time he done it, the wife was having a school lesson on him, and it just so happened I was round the yard. I was watching him, and then I just told her he's got to go into fit, get off him now because he's quite a nervous rider. So I got on and finished the school lesson and pushed him through it with the instructor there. And to be fair, it's the best I've ever had him going, schooling. But the next day I went for a jumping lesson with him. And before I schooled him to warm him up. And just as I was going to start coming in, Lenny started doing his bucking stuff again. So I pushed him through that a bit. And then we thought again, hang on a minute, there could be something, we've missed something. So we stopped. But the third time he done it with me, about a month later, because we gave him a few days, we thought it was the grass, different food.
Yeah.
But the third time he done it to me, I was like, no, I'm staying on. If you want to gallop around the sound school, I'll stay on you.
Correct. What happens if we keep going? Yeah.
Yes.
So possibly, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, we've got off twice. Possibly now we're going down the wrong route. What happens if I stay on? Which is exactly what I would have thought. Very interesting that he kept going. Again, I would go for what you're doing. Everything you've done sounds exactly everything that I would have done. I'd push him through it a few more times, but video it while we're doing it. Look back at the video, see if you can see anything there. Send me the video absolutely, because myself and Zana and a few other people can have a little look and see if we can work out what's going on. But I think the steps that you're taking are absolutely the steps that I would take. Okay, then.
What I will do, he's been, with all these problems with COVID-19, he's been out in the field for a while, but like Sophie, I've been talking to Sophie, and we've got to start, we're going to start bringing him in now and start lunging him a bit to get all the energy out of him, and then slowly get back on his back, go for a hack and chill him again, and then start working him back up slowly. And then if we do start getting problems, we'll be videoing him as we go along. Yeah. And if he starts performing badly again, I'll just pop you a video across and have a look.
And as you say, he loves his jumping.
Oh yeah, there's no, he doesn't even look at anything. If there's a slight problem, it's me that's asleep because he's going to do it. I'm not 100% focused.
And this problem occurs when you've done your round, you've stopped, you've spoken to the instructor.
Yes.
And then you set off again.
Yes. Or we just pick up the jumps to like a 90 or whatever, or just change the angle a little bit, or just add another jump. and then it's like he's had time to think, and it's like, I don't want to do this no more. The sun's out. It's one of those, you know. It's like you're stubborn. It's like,
yeah. As far as I would be with my horses, and thinking back, you're doing exactly the right thing. It's a process of eliminations, and I would think back to the little experiences that I've had where if it is something that you do, we're going to avoid that. Maybe try just not stopping at the instructor, but just carry on round and just talk to him a bit and see if that's different. Or maybe if you're circling around and then go, I don't know, we just need to try all different things to try and retrain this pattern. I don't think getting off has helped you, and I wouldn't recommend doing that again, unless there's anything, once again, to suspect that it might be something medical.
Yeah, because when you ask him to go on, and you can tell straight away by his eye, it's like you can just see it, and he throws his ears back at you, and you know exactly what he's going to do. So I move him left to right, do a small circle.
Yeah.
Circle. Straight now, I think he's getting one on me. I change, no, we're going this way. We're not going that way anymore. Just change the angle a little bit.
1,000,000%.
Get him confused, then get him into canter, and then get on with it. If he starts playing around, right, now I push you through it. Come back to me, and then every so often I'll throw 2 jumps in. If he's still being a little bit silly, turn him left or right. No, we're not jumping, we're going to go this way, throw 2 more in, and then I'll bring him back, start him up again. Just like you're saying, just try and think something else to do.
Yeah, everything you're doing is absolutely right. Please do feel free, send me a video, and we can have a look at it. There's been no changes other than the change of season. You haven't changed his food.
We've put him back to exactly what he was when we first had him, because he was quite poor. So we put him on like a build-up feed and everything, and then he changed grass in a different field and different stuff. So what we've done, we thought it was all that. So we stripped all that back and put him on the original stuff we had him, and put him on the original old fields again with old grass, just to make sure there's no goodness in the field like when we first had him. But he's a competition horse in the UK, so they keep him a little bit slim. In Jersey, we're used to having a bit more weight, and sometimes we often think he's really bulked up now. He's looking good, he's feeling good, and he's like probably up himself a little bit, thinking, oh, look at me, now I'm twice the size I was, so now I can do what I want. Yeah,
obviously we're speaking through the internet. From what I hear, you're doing everything absolutely right, and it's exactly what I'd be doing. But obviously, advice through the internet without somebody actually there looking at them. I'm just speaking to the audience now, that if you've got a horse, people write to me going, what's my horse doing this and that? Ultimately, somebody has to be there or video it so that somebody can see. So yes, that's my little disclaimer, not necessarily to you, because I think everything you're doing is correct, but to anybody who's taking advice from experts through the internet, bear in mind they're not there, and make sure you get somebody to see this problem, and then they might just spot the thing that you're not spotting because you're on board.
That's fine. Okay, thank you.
That was just my little disclaimer. Yeah, please do send a video, because I'm intrigued. And what was your name, sir?
Gary.
Gary, thanks for talking, Gary. And yeah, please do.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye.
There we are. Sounds like Gary and Sophie are doing exactly the right thing, according to what I would do in my experience with quite a lot of horses over the 10 years. Lovely. Does anybody want to come on and ask a question? I think I've written it quite clearly in YouTube. What we got? That was fascinating, that question. Absolutely brilliant. I love that. Okay. Lovely. So I need to do my little advert now for what's coming up with the May Day special something. So watch out on May Day. It's going to be on May Day as a special something. which is directly because we are in lockdown. We can't get to our horses as much as we like. Oh, Sam's in the waiting room. Super. I'll be with you in a minute, Sam. We can't get to our horses as much as we like. More details about that. I'm going to spend all afternoon working on it. More details about that coming up just before May Day. But there we are. There's going to be a May Day special something. And the clue is Cardinal Richelieu wouldn't like it. So there we go. Right, going back to our next question. We got Sam. Are you there? Oh, your audio isn't on. If you go to settings or wave your cursor about. There we go. Hello.
Hi. Wow, look at that. That's perfect timing.
Lovely. Where are you?
Just got home. So yeah, just got onto my little balcony, but I've got to plug the phone in. So I'll sit here for a moment. Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Would you like to introduce yourself and how we know each other?
Yeah, so I'm Sam. So I've kind of had a real issue with my confidence going back a few years with an inappropriate horse that I put up with for far too long, for about 4 years, and by the end of that was in a bit of a wreck. And then started working with Karl. So I've done your face-to-face confidence day, which was brilliant. Got the book, listened to the audiobook, and then recently did the beta group for the ultimate horse confidence course, which I have to say has been completely transformational. So yeah, basically I've been working with Karl on and off. I've probably worked with you more than you've worked with me, if you know what I mean, having like read a lot of your stuff in my own time and listened to your stuff in my own time. But yeah, it's been unbelievable. It's been transformational. So I thought I would give you a bit of an update, and I've got a question. So I don't know if you remember, confidence was coming on leaps and bounds, and me and Coco actually achieved our goal of going and doing a 100 trials, and we came second, and it was absolutely brilliant, like the best day ever. And we had an absolutely fabulous time. And then I was starting IVF treatment literally the week after, so I actually achieved my goal just before I started the IVF treatment. But then on such a high, I was like, great. And the next weekend I'd booked, which I wasn't meant to do because I was on this medication, that told me to stop riding. But I booked a show jumping lesson on the Saturday and cross country on the Sunday. And as fate would have it, I broke my hand on the Saturday after a jump Coco booked, and I hit his neck and I broke my hand. So that put a stop to that, which Karl said he thought was fate, which it probably was. Anyway, so that put me off riding. I couldn't ride for 4 weeks with that, and then carried on with the IVF treatment. And then obviously lockdown happened, so I've not been able to ride for absolutely ages, and then found out that I'm pregnant. So that's brilliant. So again, in some ways it was all kind of fate conspiring against me to stop me from riding while I was having the treatment, because otherwise I probably would have ridden, and you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, at the beginning my yard completely locked down. I couldn't see Coco at all, which was really hard. And the guy who ran it, he was riding Coco for me 3 times a week, so I've kept him fit. And I don't know if you remember, just before that all happened, I was having a bit of a problem with him out hacking, that he would be certainly the first canter, if not all canters, he'd put in a great big buck when you very first asked him to go, like an excitement buck, but it wasn't naughty, he wasn't dropping a shoulder or anything, but it was a bit putting me off a little bit. And then my anxiety was up each time and thinking, right, we're going to canter here, and thinking, okay, how big's this buck going to be? And you did say to me about getting somebody else to ride him and see if they could kind of get it out of him, and that's what's happened. So my yard is now it's still not open, but what he'll do is he'll bring Coco up to the bottom of the lane for me, tacked up, so I can get on, go for a hack, and then come back again and drop him off. So it's actually like a proper livery, which is amazing. Yeah. Tack him up or wash him off or anything. Quite get used to this. But having had Seb ride him quite a bit, the first few times he did his little buck trick. So and Seb said, you know, it's just excitement, but he said all I did was just sit back and kick, which is exactly what you said to do in the bucking PDF.
Yeah.
And anyway, it seems to have worked because I've ridden 4 times now, every other day since Seb decided that he'd be able to bring the horse up for me to meet. And it's been absolutely amazing. Like, it's been so nice, first of all, to have that to be able to get out on the horse in this environment with everything that's been going on, but also
I sense there's a but coming.
well, interestingly, I had obviously a block of time off, but I kept listening to the Ride Like You've Always Dreamed of hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bit in that which is about like cantering along, and then you're getting faster and faster, and then you really let go. And I've been listening to that loads. And actually out on our hacks, we've been, obviously the ground's quite hard, so we've not been going fast, but we have had some nice canters. And it's just been amazing to have like that moment of appreciation while you're cantering along, like, yes, I'm doing this. This is the thing that I've been thinking about on that hypnosis, and now we're actually doing it, which is amazing. So the but is, obviously I'm now pregnant 8 weeks, and I've always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to crack it before I got pregnant, because I know that a lot of people struggle after they've had children with confidence, you know, with that extra responsibility, and obviously at some point I'll have to stop riding, but I'm not going to do that until I feel like I have to. And it's really just almost like preparing myself now for what is the best way to prepare myself now for the fact that I'm going to have a chunk of time off riding, and then getting back to riding, but not letting having had a child affect my confidence.
This is the question that comes up all the time. Firstly, if you're having, when you add up having a break with horses plus having a child and all the responsibilities to your career, your relationship, your financial security, your future, blah, 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 all those worries, this is the classic stress bucket being overflowed. If you've read my book at all, oh, I could do an advert for my book here. I've got a book out called Control Your Stress and Enjoy Your Horse. It's available on Amazon or from www.karlgreenwood.co.uk. And as well as dealing with confidence strategies for leisure riders, it also deals with general confidence and the way that your brain can act in a way that you're under attack when you're not. When certain things happen, you can get overstressed, and your capacity to deal with stress, which I represent as a bucket, the stress bucket, can become overfull, not only with the stresses of the day, and of course, if you have newborn children, you've got a lot of stress of the day and the noise, the mess, the sleepless nights and everything, but then also the imaginary stresses. What's going to happen to my relationship? What's going to happen to my home? What's going to happen to my career? Are we going to be able to afford to give a good life to this child? No. And plus then you've also got your imaginary stresses with your horse as well. Once your stresses go up, then your primitive part of your brain thinks that you're under attack, and it comes back with safety stuff that keeps you safe, survival strategies, such as when you're under attack, it pays to be angry and strong, and it pays to be anxious and quick, and it pays to be depressed and save energy. And all these survival strategies then start to come to the fore, because the imaginary stresses are going into the bucket. Now, our stresses are going to go up anyway at certain points, when you have children, when you take your exams, and the whole thing with teenagers blowing off and being angry at absolutely everything, or being depressed and listening to goth music going, oh, Black Moon, pity me now. And all that is all for a very good reason. And various points in your life, this happens. The solution is always the same. Don't fill your bucket with artificial stresses. So there's plenty of stresses as we are. So make a dedicated effort to make sure that you don't fill your bucket with artificial stresses. Keep an eye on what you're thinking, not just about horses, but about every situation, because overwhelmingly what happens is people have horses, their stress goes up, they start to look around for what's attacking them, and what is attacking them will be their relationship, their emails, their financial security, and on the other hand, their horses, the time they're not having done. Therefore, that means they will probably get hurt. And now these little children won't have a mum. And all imaginary. As long as we take the sensible bite-sized started, at some point, that horse had never had a rider on it, and it managed. At some point, you'd never been on that horse, and it managed. If we had a break, then we are not just give up the idea that you're going to get straight back on at the level you left off with. You will have skill fade, the horse will have skill fade, and you'll have to go back. I mean, having a kid is going to be a few months before you can even start riding again. So it will be like being a musician. I'm afraid you're going to have to go back to your scales. But what if you decide that right now, this is the way it's going to go. I'm going to achieve all this stuff. Then I'm going to have a kid while the horse has some skill fade and I have some skill fade. And then we're going to start with our scales, but it won't be like the first time. Going through your scales will be 20 minutes a time, whereas when you first learned to play, it was 2 hours of real painful going through your scales. When you first learned to ride and you first got that horse and you were getting to know each other and getting to do your figure eights and your circles and be on the bit and have the weight carried correctly and a nice outline, that took months, months, years sometimes. Easily you can have a horse that's a couple of years before you start gelling. It won't be that long again, but you might as well be aware, not even prepared. It's just aware. This is the fact of life. It's like, here comes summer, here comes winter, here comes summer again, here comes winter. It's just a fact of life that you will get to where you are again now. In fact, you'll be even better because you'll have had that experience of the skill fade and then adding in all the doing your basics again, like a musician learning the scales. And when you're back to where you are second time, you're going to be way higher, way more stable, a way better bond, and it's just to be expected. But the result will be so worth it. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Because I thought that even having, it's probably been about 2 months with me breaking my hand and then the treatment and then corona, that I've not ridden. And the first time going back out riding, I felt myself feeling a bit nauseous beforehand again. And, you know, that old pattern of nerves beforehand. But after 4 times, I'm now like, cannot wait. You know, it'll be excitement.
Yeah. But that's back to your bite sizes. When you do come back into it after a little while for breaking your hand or having a baby or whatever, you feel a little bit nauseous, like, oh my God, I'm going to do this, butterflies. But if you dropped your bite size and gone, today, I'm just going to go at the mountain block, sit on it, walk a circle and get off again, then you'd be like, that's certainly doable. And there wouldn't be any butterflies, would there?
No, that's true.
Between a super simple exercise with no butterflies and a higher level exercise with butterflies, between there is your bite sizes. But if you go to the discipline and trouble to do those bite sizes, it'll be 20 minutes, 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 little, and you'll be back in it. If you're just like, okay, I'm definitely going to just get on this horse, ignore my butterflies, pull on my brave pants, and then you don't get the result you want, it's like, oh my God, I've lost my security, I've lost my confidence, I'm a rubbish horse rider. And now you've put yourself against it for just not being humble enough to put yourself through the necessary equivalent of playing the scales on a musical instrument.
Yeah, so actually I haven't done that this time. I did just I went out with somebody rather than on my own, but you're right, I should have just
I know, right.
I'll go down the road and then back again, rather than I'll go down the road and I'm going to go for a canter and, you know, actually be quite nervous.
I get it myself. When I haven't been Roman riding is when you've got 2 horses going next to each other and you stand on them. and it's a pretty weird sensation. And if I leave off over the winter, which I shouldn't do, but of course life gets in the way, and sometimes it's like, oh God, it's been 6 months since I've done that. And I now know that I'm not going to be jumping on 4 and galloping around the arena on day 1. That was the end of last year. Right now, I think I'd better get on these horses and just poodle, get my head back into it, get them back into it. They'll be a little bit more fighty than they were before, and I've got to get them to go straighter. They've forgotten what to do. One might not keep up with the other. I've forgotten what to do. And it's just like, let's just, in that arena there, round and 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 round. Do I want to do it? No. I want to be like the guy in the photo, who is me, from last year in my reception room, stood on 4, shouting at the crowd, waving one hand. Ooh. That ain't coming for a while.
Yeah.
And it happens repeatedly. But I've just learned that that's just how it is. When you're not a particularly brave person, like I'm not, and I learned to work within that. But I'm not going to turn myself into a brave person. I found a different way. We've got a little saying here: we're not brave, we're trained.
Yeah.
Feel free to drop back.
One thing that I took from doing the course with you is actually I'm better. Things seem to happen more if I actually write stuff down. So I think if I was to write down my bite sizes now for when I get back into riding, then I'd know, like, I'd almost have a structure that I can look back on and go, okay, yeah, let's start there and do that.
Very good. But don't look back on it in 6 months' time. Look back on it tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and keep yourself in your imagination up with it. Because there's a study of basketball players where they got a set of basketball players to practice a particular shot, and they got a bunch of basketball players to imagine a particular shot. And the improvement was slightly better for the people that didn't do it, but just imagined it over and over again in its most perfect way. This is what I do. Remember the feeling, remember the emotion, just what you were describing to us a minute ago about how pleased you were to be like, I'm actually doing it. Revisit that over and over and over and over again. Write it down. Help teach, help other people, describe what it's like, describe the process, write a blog, keep it going, keep active. The only reason I'm as confident as I am on a horse is because I'm spending all the time teaching, re-emphasizing, and the difference in me has been amazing since I started this rider confidence course. I'm not even the same person because I teach. It keeps yourself sharp. I keep writing the articles. I keep doing the interviews. Now I'm doing this live interview. I keep doing the Facebook Live. You just keep reminding yourself all the time of how good it is. And what it feels like, the positive sides of what it feels like, where the adrenaline's excitement.
Yeah, and that's
keep your revision up. Keep your revision up.
I think I've probably listened more in the last couple of weeks to the hypnosis than I ever have, but that's obviously because my lifestyle's allowed that, but with quarantine, but huge. It seems to be, now that I'm doing that consistently, it seems to be making a huge difference. So
I would think that if you listen to both the hypnosis, but especially the Ride Like You Dream Of, with the whole sensation of galloping, which you have already experienced, if you keep listening to that throughout your pregnancy and the child being born and being able to get back on your horse, that'll keep you topped up, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Just keep your revision going, and also expect there to be a period of practicing your scales when you get back again.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, because you have been a complete game changer for me. So complete game changer. It's been amazing. So,
thank you very much. Thank you for coming on and asking the question. Just tell everybody how easy it was to get on.
Yeah, it's like literally a click of a button, and then while I was in the co-op, I was waiting. All
Lovely.
came on, so it was easy.
Super. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a lovely day.
Cool. Thanks so much, Carl. See you.
See you soon. Bye bye. There we go. That was super. Absolutely super. So the exciting things happening this week. This broadcast I'm going to do at 11 o'clock every day. Please, if you've had any kind of joy out of it, or it's been useful in any kind of way, share it to groups, tell people that it's happening, tell people they can come and ask their questions. The May Day special something, keep that in mind. Cardinal Richelieu wouldn't approve, is your clue. And apart from that, thank you for listening. If you've got onto YouTube, can you hit the subscribe button and tell everybody else to hit the subscribe button? And thank you for coming. See you later, everybody.